Hello, everyone. All right, we're gonna try this again. Um, in this live, I wanted to talk about when actors can go on a vacation. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I'm using my Scarlet, my red Scarlet here. Make sure. Test, test. Seems like the volume is low. What about over here? Any better? Any better? All right, we're gonna hope that's good enough. Um, just with the levels a little bit, play around. Okay. Today's video is going to be about when actors can take a vacation. I felt this was probably pretty relevant because I just got back from a vacation in Mexico for 8 days, and I'm this tan. This is as tan as my Irish jeans let me get. It doesn't get any darker than this. Um, uh, so, um, while I was there, I got some auditions. I even had a director session and, had to problem solve all of that. And it just got me thinking about like when is a good time of year for actors to take a vacation because it kind of feels like never is the answer. And to an extent, that's true. In that we are kind of constantly busy working right now, but there definitely are times where I think it's easier to book out with your agent or to take a vacation as opposed to other times where it's probably not a good idea to take a little siesta. Um, to start, just the concept of like when is a good time. The basically means like when are you least likely to get a bunch of auditions that you're going to be either not enjoying your vacation because you're going to be busy working them, and or you're going to um, have to turn them down, which could like be lead to bad relationships in the future, or like what can you be doing uh, um, differently, I guess. Okay, so first and foremost, uh, uh, there's still a thing called pilot season, despite all the streaming services. Pilot season, I would start right there, is probably not a good idea or a good time to go on a vacation. Um, uh, uh, Pilot season predominantly exists in February, March into early April. And then there's a secondary pilot season, which takes place in the fall. So, like last week of August into September and then October. Um, those are going to be most likely your busiest times um, throughout the year as far as auditions goes. Now, those things do fluctuate, and as I mentioned just a minute ago, with the advent of or on the onset of all these different streaming services, there kind of is no official off season anymore. But stereotypically, you would get your busiest chunks at the beginning of the year, February, March, beginning of April, and then and the fall, so like last week of August, September, October. And then your that's for TV. And then for films, they're predominantly going to be shot during the summer. So you do have things slowing down a little bit in like the July time period. And then definitely after Thanksgiving, basically things really start to shut down or slow down at least. And that's because everybody's trying to enjoy the holidays. So production's going to overall slow down. That's a good time to take a vacation for sure. Um, but because of streaming services, you kind of had things going on year round. So there's never going to be a perfect time. So then it comes to um, when is like a good time to let your agent know if you're booked out or not, um, or whatever. So like so many things in this industry, it's going to come down to your personal preference. Um, there was a time where, you know, I would have paid $1,000 for a last minute flight back home for a one line, occupational co-star type role on a TV show, and like lost money basically being on the project. Um, because I wanted the credits. and I wanted the experience and everything. And not to say that those are beneath me now, because I, am always willing and ready to work. But if I'm looking at it objectively heading into a vacation, I know I probably won't travel for things like that, or try to figure out the logistics for something like that anymore. So I'm going to let my agent know that I'm either booked out for those types of roles, or I'm just going to let production know that I have like a scheduling conflict, right? And just pass on the audition for that time. Um, but then there are auditions or roles that you are definitely willing to make things work despite, whether or not you're on vacation. And that's a communication you want to have with your agent as well. Um, and because of that, you can travel with a full, like, travel kit. So I have, let me grab this guy real quick. All right, so he is a pain in the butt to get in and out of here. I still have not perfected how to fold this thing. I might make a video just on how to fold these things back up. But basically, this guy flips out into a portable, both green screen and then blue screen. Don't use green screens for your self-tape auditions. It's kind of a faux pas. It's like it's somebody who's like not a dad making a dad joke. It's a faux pas. Um, that's terrible. Uh, but um, the blue side works just fine. The problem is, unless I'm driving somewhere, I cannot fit this in my backpack. I also cannot fit this in my carry-on suitcase, and I'm not 100% certain I can fit this on my checked bag either. It takes up an obnoxious amount of space just because of its circular nature. I can use it as my personal item if I forego my, laptop bag or backpack. But again, that's just, you know, what becomes worth it to you packing wise. For me personally, um, I know that when I travel, whatever hotel I'm staying at is going to have some type of wall space that I can use. Um, uh, uh, Even if it's not ideal, right? So then next up is just like lighting. All right. Well, lighting always gets tricky too. I do travel with a couple very like small portable lights as a just in case, but honestly, they're not ideal. Um, Natural light is still going to be your best bet. So I'll try to find a blank wall in my hotel room that is opposite the window, and I try to make sure to just do my auditions during the day. Um, for camera, I just use my phone, and then I bring just a little tripod guy, because tripods too are hard to travel with. So just bring a little. Let me see if I have an extra one. Don't leave. All right, I don't have the legs for this guy. I don't have the legs for this guy, but this is the top that would go to it. So your phone just slides right in there, and then it's just got like three little legs that can like wrap around stuff. So I will use that, and I'll just try to prop it up on like my suitcase, and maybe I'll sit down or something like that, just to make it work eyeline wise and framing wise and stuff. Um, and then usually I'm traveling with my significant other, so I just have a reader. If not, casting is a lot more forgiving now after this pandemic with doing some type of virtual reader. So I just contact somebody that I know can virtually read for me and do that. Um, so that's how I get those auditions in. Um, when it comes to director sessions, stuff like that, you just want to make sure that you've got a good internet connection. So test that beforehand. But yeah, that's the ideal time or place to travel is always going to be somewhere where, uh, or some time when your auditions are going to be lower, and that's going to predominantly be in that April to June space, or July and August space. Um, and then post Thanksgiving in November up until about the new year in January, things start to ramp. I would say by like January 3rd, they're back at it. Um, so those are going to be your best times when you've got like the least amount. But the ultimate message here is anytime's a good time if you really feel like you need a break, mental reset, just some type of vacation. I'm going to block this light so it doesn't keep blinding you guys. Um, you can just have that conversation with your agency, and just trust yourself that you're good enough and you're not going to be burning any bridges by booking out for a week or two, um, and you'll have auditions waiting for you when you get back, kind of thing. um, so don't stress about it too much. But if you at least keep in mind those busy times of early of the year and then in the early fall, um, and then kind of plan around those, you're going to be setting yourself up for success as far as not turning down any possible missed opportunities. But I will always say, to the actor's conundrum of like, oh, I don't want to miss anything, or like, what if I miss the role that was like meant for me? I will quote, I'm pretty sure it was Robert Duvall who said, whatever is right for you won't pass you by. Just have that attitude, have that mindset, um, because we're human, and the real goal to success in this industry is longevity. It's spaghetti theory, right? You throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's how many, if you're a baseball player and you've got to hit a home run off of one pitch, that's really difficult. But if you've got 1,000 tries at it, you're probably going to hit one, right? Maybe 10,000 tries, whatever it is. But the idea being the more shots you're getting, the more likely you're going to have success. So, you know, don't look at it as that short term of like what auditions you're missing in that week. If you're feeling like you need that vacation and you need that reset, whatever auditions you're going to miss in that short term, if it's setting you up for long term success, or long term mental health and stuff like that, you're going to be in a better place to book stuff overall and have more of a career than that one role. Don't let that romantic idea of this industry uh, um, cloud being able to live your life. But also then too, just know that there are ways to put yourself in a situation where if a really good opportunity comes along while you're on a vacation, that you have the equipment that you need to still make it work. And like I said, the main two are just making sure that you've got your cell phone, with your camera on there, and some type of tripod to stabilize it. Um, Beyond that, you're going to have natural light coming in through a window. Um, and even if the wall's not a perfectly blank setup, there's probably not going to be anything too crazy on the wall that would be distracting. And casting's going to be understanding. On my most recent trip, my initial audition and then my director session, I did not have a blank wall. It was like stone. I was like under a staircase. The lighting was definitely not hitting me evenly. It was like a little shaded. Um, and there was just nothing that could be done about that, But casting and production was more than understanding with that setup, and appreciated that I was making the effort. And it's definitely a project that I would love to be a part of. So it made sense for me to take the time out of my vacation to do it. Um, uh, but know that for yourself, right? It's similar to nudity on screen or payment or any of these types of things. It's going to be up to your personal preference of like what you're willing to do and what you're willing to not do. And just communicating that with both your representatives and then or your representation, and then if they not your represent don't call your representatives, don't call your local congressman and tell them what you will do and won't do on screen. Call your representation, and then call your and they can talk to casting on your behalf to just communicate those things. So I see we got two people in here. Anybody have any questions about what I was covering about when's a good time to take a vacation? Did you guys miss anything or want me to repeat anything before we log off? Awesome. Well, yeah, I wanted to at least get this conversation in, so that you guys can kind of hear it, because I know it's it can be a very like ethereal experience of you're just kind of you never know like you're refreshing your email and then all of a sudden auditions pop up. Sometimes you go 2 weeks with no auditions, and then 1 week you've got 5, 6, 10 auditions, and it's like, how do you plan your life around all of this? um like I said, there is no guarantee now, especially with all the different streaming services, but there are at least portions of the year that are going to be statistically less busy. And then in addition to that, if you need the vacation, take it. And don't worry about the auditions that you're going to miss in the short term. All right, cool. Well, that's it for this live. If you want to watch it back again for any kind of reference points, go ahead and it'll be available on my YouTube channel. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss or things you'd like me to make a video on, go ahead and leave a comment. And yeah, and I will try to get to that. Take care, guys. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Take care.